my God! Oh!
Thank you, Mario, but our princess is in another
We've got to get out of here!
Stand your ground, brother.
No! Please!
We need to get out of here. Stop the car. I said get in the fucking car. Go, 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 go.
All right, welcome everybody. Bushwhacking History in Buffalo with BerserkerBear and special guest 2.0 MoonJazz. What is it, Thursday night? Skull Thursday. Let's get us on screen here. Welcome everybody in the chat. We got Tall Oaks, Machinist Square Bear. Good to see you guys. Bear's up in here. PT Ripa, Paul, good to see you. Jerusha McBear. We got Morning Glory, OG. And we have Liberty Stud Bear here right now. So welcome everybody. Thursday night live with MoonJazzBear. We just figured we'd ladle some gravy. Haven't touched base in a while as far as getting the episode together, but I figured that we'd have some fodder for you. I'll go back and forth maybe with some IG posts and just like it says in the description, anything and everything having to do with the realm and what we think of it. So it'll be open feedback. We'd like some interaction with the chat and everything. So MoonJazz, welcome back, my friend.
What's up, man?
What's been new? And we got Archimedes Death Ray on the screen right now. It might be a good place to start. And I obviously kicked it off with Berserko Mario. I love that. So I also might bring in. I think we're gonna do some an intro, whatever you want to talk about. The firmament, like I said in the backstage, maybe. Just getting people to consider the possibility of thinking outside the globe. You know, we call them normies or whatever. We're just going to dive right into it. Dinos and everything are real. Why can't we consider dragons? Also, the gravy that you have and what you do with your experiments, because you're MoonJazzBear, but I also call you MacGyver, Mr. Wizard, MoonJazzBear. So if you want to, I don't know, introduce yourself or say, you know, what you're interested in and what your passions are for people that haven't seen the last one and who are just coming in. Again, your MoonJazzBear of the Unbearables, fans of comedian Owen Benjamin.
That's right.
So
of
welcome
the
back.
Bear Clan. Thanks, man. I'm just grateful and flattered that I get to chat with you and you think highly of me, and I got to, you know, be an honored guest on a few different streams with Hanging with Bears, with Pat Life. It's just super cool, and I just like to talk gravy, and I'm curious about how things work and the things that we've lost. I find all these things that I dabble into and that I experiment with is not. I don't think anybody invents anything. I think we're rediscovering things here. I think we all have that divine connection, and we rediscover things that's always been. And that's all we're doing here.
Yeah, and throwing out the idea and the notion that I said earlier, thinking outside of the box or the globe, what we're putting forth here, and as we're saying this, MoonJazz, I got some of your posts up from your IG, that Ambergris, if I'm saying that incorrectly.
Yeah,
we'll go over that. The firmament gravy. I got some books that we can use, my solar system books. And well, if anybody has any like interactive feedback about definitions and terms that are put forth in astronomy, I'm pretty well versed in that. And the way I think of it now is all that stuff was very interesting to me. And I grew up on that going into, if you follow me for a while, I was introduced to it by my father going to the planetarium at UB here, very young. And it's so enthralling seeing the cosmos and stuff like that, or listening to Carl Sagan talk back in the day. You can get yourself caught up into it, and it's understandable. Hey, Carl Sagan.
Yeah, I mean backwards. It's Nagas, right?
Something like that. And you know,
Yeah.
his son is the voice that this is the kind of cool stuff I think about when I jog my memory. His son is the voice that was put on that gold disc that was put on Voyager 1 or
Oh
2.
no shit. Yeah,
Like
yeah,
greetings from the people of Earth. That's a
yeah.
famous thing. So I was in that world. And then through the course of, listening to Bears, also honestly shout out people like Dave Weiss, Crow 777, listening to those, RV Truth also. RV, not everybody's a Mason Truth. Yeah, so like I came full circle. Faith has a lot to do with it. Fellowship, getting insight from other people such as yourself.
That was fun.
And stuff like that. I'm trying to find the volume. Oh my goodness, that was coming in hot. But so you do experiments like this, and again, to round back off what I was saying, I did have a huge history and infatuation with astronomy. I know a lot of the fundamental concepts of it, but they are all constructs after all. And to me, they seem like now mimics of creation itself. For example, like
Well, they're
dark
stories.
matter or dark energy or supersymmetry. That's kind of like a
Mhm.
placating to the like as above, so below. So we're not shooting in the dark here from no experience. MoonJazzBear has experience with what he does in his profession, and again, like I said, I call him. Take a peruse through his. I'll have it in the description below his IG with the experiments he does. Where did you get your fascination for that, or did you grow up? I'm curious. Like, were you just always like trying to figure out what the heck's going on with stuff taking apart the radios? MoonJazz?
Yeah. I just I'm kind of flow state. I'm a lot like Big Bear. It kind of drew me to him, his similarities. I never really had my first. If I had a plan, it would always fall through. Like if it was my plan, right? So I've learned to kind of let go. That saying, "Let go, let God." But I know it's just a saying, but it's true. And just kind of, if you have questions, you can ask, and you'll be shown some things, and just be prepared for them.
Great way to put it. What's going on here? What did you do? This is a while ago, man. I got my
Yeah,
got a folder
that
on
was
you,
a
MoonJazz.
subwoofer. That was a subwoofer and a piece of copper and some sand. So I wanted to test out some low frequencies and see, how the liquefaction could happen that we talked about before last year, I think. Some of the you had some videos of the liquefaction and mudslides and like whole buildings and city blocks just like moving. And if you have some low vibration that's underneath you, I could see how that could happen. It was like moving boulders.
That's right.
Remember that video you showed? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that I think boulders act a little bit buoyant in this heavily mineral laden and metal laden water, because in a lot of those flash flood mud flows, I got videos here, but you'll see if you look at them, they're very similar. The boulders in those mud debris flows act very similar to the twigs and the wood sticks that are on the front of water flash floods, because they're floating effectively on the front of it. I like watching crazy nature stuff. I've said this before, but if you watch them mud flows, the heavy boulders are all stacked up in the front. Now, I'm not saying they're floating outright like a life jacket. I do believe they would possess a little bit of buoyancy, though, and they do seem to behave in that nature. I'll pull up a video here, but here's a picture of the firmament. Now, I wanted to pull up. Let's see.
Yeah, I bet you it's just a low frequency though. I bet you the resonant frequency of those boulders is relatively low, and whenever you have these mudslides and everything, they probably all like resonate their same or similar frequency. Just like how a bridge can go down if you walk in lockstep across it if you match its frequency.
Oh yeah, like the Tacoma.
Yeah.
Tacoma Narrows. You know what? Let's check that out. Like when you match its frequency, that gets into Tesla and the Tesla Quake machine. Oh, let's we're talking about the firmament, but since you brought that up, this is the type of show that it's going to be. I have the research videos that show what I think to be the actual Tesla machine or whatever in action. So here we go. I've shared this before, and this is a mountain slide in. I've showed this before and shared this before. This is called in Kazakhstan or whatever. They say that this happened from a mine collapse, but in my opinion, I think that they're vibrating the whole. We're just gonna like shoot for the stars here right away. Just go right from the. I think that they're actually vibrating the mountain, and it could be used for mining. I think it's mostly used for mining stuff. Now, this is pure speculation here because the real story behind this, per the mainstream, is that it was a collapsed mine or whatever, right? Or a landslide. But if you watch, it does look like it's being vibrated. And we were just talking about vibrations. Now, there could be some Lego lifts, copyright Berserker Bear on that. Lego lifts on top of the this mountain. But do you think that they have machines like that are like the Tesla Quake machine?
Most definitely.
I think so too. Does this look like it's just a regular collapse? So I think that they could use it for mining and just you pick up the aftermath and then filter it for mining purposes, or you can, David Bowie talks about how this was actually patented, this machine. We'll play that afterwards. So this will give us a base of what we're talking about. Again, I'd like to go back into the chat and see what's going on here. And I also want to introduce that scale of the universe. MoonJazz.
Yeah.
Look at that. This is fascinating to me that it's even being caught on camera. Have you seen this before?
Yeah, we
maybe I
watched
shared it
this last time. Uh-huh.
Did we really? Of course. I'm repeating stuff.
That's all right. We've slept since then.
And there's another one. But we'll get into that, and let's go back into the chat. And actually, I'll keep on showing that. It's going to repeat. And we'll say what's up. So that scale of the universe, if anybody's not familiar with it, I've been wanting to do a bushwhacking the scale of the universe for quite a while. And all it is it's a pretty cool app that shows the scale of the universe, like I'd say 1-to-1. Let's see. And this will be a good foundation, I think, that we could bounce off of tonight. So here we go on. Let me turn that off right quick. Pause that. Yeah, just consider the possibility that the Tesla Quake machine is a thing and that they actually use it for mining or for others. Now, what we're going to have on screen here is part of what my title was about. Bushwhacking the nature of the realm, like what we were talking about in our first one, and the scale of the universe, it's kind of like a double entendre, or the title was a play on words, because this app is called the scale of the universe too. Now, as I was just showing MoonJazzBear, it is pretty cool because it shows things how they are scaled to each other, all the way from the human beings out to, look at the dinosaurs, allegedly. Okay. We'll talk about that because dinosaurs, right? But not dragons, right? You can scale all the way back out. So the theoretical physicists will love this. And I did when I was of the heliocentric model, we'll say, right? All the way back out to the observable universe. I'm going to say from my point of view now, through my lens of faith, looking back at everything, all the questions that I've had waiting for CERN, waiting for them to tell us what dark energy is, even though it's 75% of the universe, but they don't know what it is. I think all this stuff is constructs. Can we see it on constructs that are on formulas and paper that are just filling in the gaps that they don't know? I'm not making that as a claim, but that's what I wholly believe. Because then you can scroll back in on this wonderful app, take it as you will, and it goes all the way down to atoms. And you can click on these things, and it's interactive. It'll tell you what everything is. Okay.
Hey, wait, hold on a second. Wait, go back. What is that dodecahedron? The buckyball.
Yeah, the buckyballs that they were shooting through the double slit experiment. The double slit experiment. and buckyballs. Yeah, that's allegedly a wave can be a particle can be a wave and a point at one time. It's Promethean shit, in my opinion. But they're like Michio Kaku will be like, no, look at this formula. We're here to tell you. We're MoonJazz and I, an event. We're going to bring in Liberty Stud Bear. He's going to have some gravy. We're here trying to argue that this is not set in stone for real truth. These are constructs.
You know,
Okay.
you know the Roman, you know the Roman dodecahedron looks exactly like that, right?
Not familiar off the top of my head, but this is the type of stuff that I wanted to get back and jog in the memory of. I'll check out the chat, and what I wanted to say is I have these books within my wingspan right now. And, it's my flashlight. So if anybody wants to like act as a foil or like constructive criticism, I have these books at my behest, right? An astrologer right here. Okay, and I also have these ones. I'll go through all these right now. I've read all of them except for the new one, astrologer. I've read all these when I got them back in the day. As a matter of fact, all these 3 black holes they're still overdue at the Kenmore Library, and I think I'm going to film myself handing them in. I think it'll be a funny bit. Because I was going to do sacrificial, but I like having these books. And what do you think about this, MoonJazz, for reference? You know, I might not believe in the constructs that they put forward, and I'm more of the firmament.
These constructs, though, they come from innate truth. A lot of science fiction, a lot of what this whole scale is extrapolated from what is known to be true into some of the unknowns. It's also can be inversions of what is actually true. There can be little breadcrumbs, little pieces of truth that's mixed in with all of this.
I agree. Just like there's a little bit of truth in every myth, or that's why
They're stories. These books right here that's perfect. These books are no different than the mythological stories. Are those stories exact 1-to-1? No, but can they exhibit traits and symbols and of acts of nature and represent larger things that are true? Yes.
That kind of hits on what I was saying before, like, or backstage, like these are all constructs, but they act as a mimic to a creation or to a certain aspect of creation. Very similar to it's very similar to deities in mythology. Great point. So this is what we kind of laid out the whole scaffolding here of truth, if you will. And as I said in the posts, like there is a little bit of truth in amongst or lies in the truth of scaffolding of truth. I can get it out. So yeah, great point there, MoonJazz. And it is like mythology because it's like a pantheon of deities, of constructs, right? But they all represent a certain aspect of truth of the creation with a capital C. And I think my profile on my IG will help jog some ideas as well. Big Bear showed this one earlier. Shout out to Matt at Woketown. And so, yeah, now let's take it to this realm right quick because we're just going all over the place here with nature of the realm, everything in between, up, down, left, and right. Considering that, I think it's here. Let's do an anchor effect here because people who are still stretching and holding on to the globe, you know, they're like, but this and that. And again, we're not saying I'm right, you're wrong, this and that. But there's a gap. There's a schism that's going on here for the people that believe that we'll say truthers or the normies, right? And it's hard to find that middle ground sometimes because we believe that certain things are way out there. And not saying that it's wrong. But for example, I told my mom the other day, she was trying to get me thinking politically about, you know, Trump this or Biden or whatever. I'm like, Mom, let me just level the playing field for us right now. I believe that there's like frozen demons in Antarctica. So
yeah, I'm with you.
Of levels apart, Ma. And she texted me back, you're right, Dustin. Okay. I'll see you when you come over, right? That kind of sets the tone and that expresses the whole idea of, for me, Ouroboros and the cycle of things, because there is a Gununga gap right now between Niflheim and Muspelheim, sort of, and it is growing, and that it's a divide right now of the truther movement, people who think we know what's going on, and just the normies going on. And that's going to ever increase for the example I just told you. They don't want to hear it. It's all Pepsi or Coke.
Yeah,
And
it's happening bad
so we
right
believe,
now, man.
But then to summarize that as to what I'm trying to say here, and sorry, I mean, but mainstream, this is just a general idea that I want to get out here. Like, we abide this, and I think that Pleistocene megafauna are some of the coolest shit ever. I mean, you got short-faced bears, you got ground sloth, and I'm not saying that those are of the line of like dinosaurs, but we abide this in mainstream, and we abide this in mainstream. How come we can't abide something like this then? Right?
Right.
And something like this. That's another undertone or theme I'd like to go on. And here we go. Not so fast. So again, we're not saying dragons were real, but in an antediluvian age, pre-flood, for example, I definitely believe in the Nephilim, and they had progenies, and some of them may have been good like the heroes of old and renown. Some of them may have seen that their place has fallen and try to help humans.
They were 100% real. You look at all the art. I mean, it is riddled with it, and it's not that old.
Yeah, that's one of the things that the mythology of the flood, or the general flood story, going back to Mesopotamia through Babylon, they're all similar stories. So are we talking about the same thing? Not to consider that, and to consider these literal beasts that were around in that time. Again, people are going to say that we're talking theology and biblical stuff, but I don't think we've ever left biblical time. Big Bear said that. I agree with him. It's I think it's important to consider that these things are possible now. And it, again, to make the example of what I told my mom, just to say something like that as an anchor effect, maybe they'll be a little bit more accepting when we start saying that, yeah, maybe these aren't really clouds, Ma. Maybe they're, chemtrails or something like that, just to try to get them.
Yeah, I get it, man. It's hard. People are comfortable in what they don't know, and the unknown scares people. It really does. The seed of fear that's been sown in death is palpable. And
think about how much unknown there is. There is with the globe model. There also is with realm Earth, or whatever, like we'd say the firmament. I want to get into that a little bit more and show pictures of it and what we were talking about last time. But here we go. So nobody can ever really prove that these top quarks, top G, have you got a Bugatti? and what was that? We went all the way down to so this app goes from the observable scale to the Planck length, right?
You know what that Planck length is? 6.626.
Oh, let's check it out. We can interactive with this here.
Yeah.
Planck length.
So
there you go.
That's 6.6266.
The Planck length, if anybody's listening, it says the Planck length is a unit of length. There is also a Planck time, which is the amount of time it takes light to travel one Planck length. Okay, so that is insanity to me. Okay. And it's just a filler for something that they don't know. Oh, go ahead. I'm right.
Let me help. I went down this rabbit hole, and it gets weird. Everything gets a little weird, but you get down into these rabbit holes, and literally this is like down to the smallest, length, right? Planck's length, Planck's constant.
So they say. Yep.
Right. So, and it's even funny, right? The guy's name is Planck, and so that's Plan K, right? That's Plan 11. So there's, that might have happened coincidentally, but I'm starting to not, ever believe in coincidence anymore. It's Plan K, Plan 11, right? So
okay.
That's hilarious. I see this all as comedy too, right? When you look into the stuff, find the humor in it. But I know some pretty high level scientists in this realm that are nothing but autistic, crazy people that literally do want to find out the secrets of the universe. They do want to look for things that down into this level. They do use tools and sophisticated microscopy, dark field microscopy, SEMs. I've used SEMs. I can understand some of the ways in which we denote different materials and elements and yada yada yada. But specifically with the Planck's length, and I got a confirmation on this, right? The so-called atom that makes up everything is predicated on this Planck's length, which is a coefficient of 6.26 or 6 point, yeah, I believe it's 6.266. And you can multiply that coefficient by a given frequency. And that's funny you put that up there. So when you do that, you can then be able to connect the suborbitals of what is the construct of an electron is, of the protons and electrons, and how because the models we're given even for atoms, they don't work in actual physics, right? The speed in which they allegedly go, the size that they allegedly are, like everything, nothing would in real physics that moves like that would hold together. Nothing would nothing. But if you see it in terms of kind of like that pictogram of the luminaries, as above so below type deal, right, where everything is fractal. And they are dabbling in. I believe that all these people that even write these physics books and everything, they do dabble in the esoteric. They are dark wizards, right?
Agreed.
But they'll use terminology. They'll make up terminology. They'll make up things that just make you dead-eyed stare because they've got one on you, right? They're holding back a card. They're saying, "Look, this is what it is," and they say, "Oh, how special I am," but they're holding something back. So what I've kind of figured out with the Planck's constant deal is it's a way that a coefficient in which you can map out an element or a group of elements, or like say water, say copper, say gold, say even some crazy elements like electrum, things like that. You can figure out exactly what its frequency pattern is, just like the cathedral patterns, those cymatic patterns. You can actually map out, and they froze some things at Kelvin. They froze some elements and been able to use some microscopy that as the resolution is unreal, and they say it looks like a crosshatch, right? So you can actually freeze matter and be able to see the crosshatch pattern of its cymatic frequency.
Whoa,
right?
gravy.
So that's what they're trying. That's their fancy way of saying their terminology of physics, right? They'll leave some things out. They won't explain it fully. They'll say they'll just leave out a whole lot of details, and they'll make up big words. Another thing about this whole scale is what you'll notice about the whole thing is go directly to the middle. Can you zoom that scale into to the middle of the entire scale like that?
That's as far as I can go in right there.
We're on the left end. Can you go to the middle?
Oh yeah. The middle is like right where we are.
Right. And they know that. So the middle should be us. The dead center should be us.
Good point, Moon Jazz. And they, well, pretty much middle.
Boom. Yeah. So okay, well,
think about it though. Their Planck scale down low is really skewing it because it's ridiculous. How could they even know that even with a electronic microscope? You know, right?
But that's it. It's also in theoretical land too. That Planck scale is in theoretical. But what I'm getting at though is that's very close to middle. We'll call it.
Taking some licensing.
Where us humans are in the middle of God's scale. Okay, so and scales is an awesome word. I need to look into the etymology of it, but just think of like what all of it means. Like in music and measuring things, and we're directly in the middle of creation's scale.
And this kind of yeah. So again, it's like their constructs mimic the creation in a certain sense,
Right.
whether it's directly outright a complete copy analog of it, or there's the truth is laced in. Now, like, is that like a revelation of method where they're obligated to show that truth, like we would say the cloak and dagger aspect of it, of the hidden knowledge of the Illuminati confirmed or whatever, or there's also an aspect of the truth coming out naturally, as we would say, like it's logos baked in.
Right.
If you bake a baked dough with raisins in it, the part that you bite might not necessarily have a raisin in it, but it will still taste like it because it was baked in, right? So is the truth coming out? And I think that it's kind of both. I think that they show the truth a little, whoever they is, the archons. I hate saying that because that kind of puts them in control. They is
And-
us too. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
For real.
yeah. It's people that have ulterior motives. It's just pretty much right there, and you can call it possession or demons, which is closer to the truth than anything. But it's people that get possessed by jealousy, by greed, by all these things, pride, right? It's that scale shows human behavior, the biblical scale of the 7 deadly sins and the 7 virtues, right? That's what it is.
In other words, what we're saying about what we believe mainstream history to be and mainstream astronomy, Ben Affleck does a great job here. And here we go. This is what we think about mainstream in this neck of the woods. Bear with me. Live always has its quirks, but I love this part. Here goes what we think about history.
Let me tell you something. You're suspect. Yeah, you. I don't know what your reputation is in this town, but after the shit you tried to pull today, you can bet I'll be looking into you.
You can bet I'll be looking into you. I love that clip. So we got movie clips. I want to show some more stuff. I'll hop back in the Callista Refried. Welcome. PT Rippa, welcome. Boston, shout out to Boston. Yep, for sure. Old school, old world. And so, yeah, we got Realm Gravy, Firmament. Put that up. And we go back to, like I was talking about pre-antediluvian days. We also incorporate things like the Book of Jasher and the Book of Enoch and Giants and everything. I'll open up my Giants folder. We'll start talking about that because it does say in Jasher, and you might want to say, well, how do you believe that there may have been huge titans before, or if there was a serpent, dragon, fallen Nephilim, how big were these things? We can get into that aspect of it because when you question when you can show one part of their facade is a front, then everything has to be brought into question professionally if you're really trying to search for truth, right? So again, this whole giant thing, completely plausible for me when considering antediluvian time and bringing that into now. And, there's conjecture. Are they still out there? I'm not sure. But, even
Dude, they're
100 years ago.
They're out there. Yeah,
I mean,
you got pictures of them. There's the 12-footers and 15-footers right there.
Yeah, of course we can. Some of these pictures could be modified. I don't think so. I got some good ones, but I got the book for that one.
There's newspaper clippings that just from all across the world, but I mean ones that we can get a hold of that are in English all across America.
So do you think that they're
of 30-foot tall skeletons?
Okay, I remember I sent you. I couldn't find that picture of the mountain, and I'm like, dude, can you? I think it was in the context of like some people. This is actually my grandmother's book. I got that. I was like, I think it was in the context of, can you believe that some people think that mountains are actually melted buildings or red brick? And I sent you a picture of a cool looking building that might have been something, whatever. And you're like, I think it's a skull.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, that's on the line. So I'm going to show some stuff from other bears. Actually, Rusty Shackleford Bear had some cool stuff, but giants. Okay. That's the thing. Now, I think that there's people who grow big to begin with, but when you just cited 30-foot giants Is that a holdover from the progeny of the Nephilim? And again, when I cite Nephilim, we're talking biblically. We're talking about fallen angels. The
Right.
33,
No,
the 33rd that went against.
My opinion. I mean, we're just get to chill and talk gravy here.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
My opinion is no. I think when when that word gets brought up of the Nephilim, those giants were in size that are unfathomable to
Yeah, like
us.
the 30-foot tall ones and like
no, I don't even think I think the 30-foot they're 30-footers, 50. Those were people from the old world, maybe from other lands, maybe from descendant from times when there was more pressure here on Earth. I think like the Nephilim, there's dimensions in the Bible in some of these books that that spell it out, and the Nephilim were like literally a mile tall, a mile, like, and I know that
I'm
5 years ago,
not sure.
a few years ago, I would have said that I would call myself crazy, but after looking at all of the petrified trees, after looking at just everything that you see, that you're now seeing with new eyes, and you're like, holy shit. Like the trees were miles in diameter. The trees were miles in height. Like, yeah. And it's in Daniel. It's in all these books. Like it was there. Like, what the fuck were we thinking when we read it? Oh yeah, that's a cool story. And then we look around and like, there's evidence for it. Like those are stories that you just showed, right? But there's evidence for the shit in the Bible.
There's a great channel that does the biblical tree thing called Hangman 1128. I believe, and he thinks all the mountains are straight up just trees. Here we go. Shout out to this gentleman. He's put in a lot
of them. Probably are. Yeah,
he's faithful. But again, if you have other faith or whatever, we're not of Jesus only. I think MoonJazz is of that cloth as well. But we respect all benevolent faiths. Okay. Not the polytheistic.
Hey, we all got one creator.
Jesus Christ, my Savior, God Most High, my Creator. But this gentleman has done extensive work on the biblical trees. Now, I think some mountains might actually be the Titans. Okay,
right?
Like the elephants, because in Jasher it says that he smote them into. Stellium 7 is another one, a good one for the. So Hangman 1128 for the biblical trees. These Mike from Stellium 7 has a great series on this Titan mountain called Mount Go in southern Spain in his backyard. I forget exactly where it is, but I would highly recommend watching his playlist on the Titans. He does great field work where he gets out. He just doesn't sit behind the keyboard and pause it. He got out on the actual mountain itself and showed demonstrably how it looks very similar to the anatomy of an elephant. Okay. And you might say that we're crazy for that, but when you consider Jasher and that those who wanted to go to Babel to try to get into heaven and wreck shop, God turned them into elephants and monkeys. So I believe that happened. What happened to them with the flood or whatever, that's up for conjecture. But I would also recommend the work of Rob Skiba, because he does extensive work into that Nephilim stuff. And rest in peace, Rob Skiba. He's another person that got me into believing in, I say realm earth. Are you a flat earther or a realm earther? What's your take on that? I say yeah.
It is flat and it is bumpy.
They say, okay, again, they say that shit about the universe. They're like, is the universe round or is it flat? You know. So again, there goes that mimic of the conjecture there, because go ahead.
We're in an electromagnetic realm, right? We're in Midgard. Everything is demonstrably flatter than a pancake. Bridge building, any long scale building that we do, architecture that spans hundreds of miles, It's flat. All of our artillery. I'm involved with the DoD and some unspeakable things. And guess what? We can shoot projectiles 2 feet off the water for a very, very, very long distance, and that wouldn't work with any amount of curve. Are you there? I lost you. Oh no. Did I say some things?
No, I was on mute. My bad. Oh, did
All
you
right,
say?
cool.
Did you say? Did you say DOD? Oh, shill
Yeah,
much? You're
yeah,
gonna get called a shill, bro. I hope you're ready for
yeah. Well, whatever. Fuck them.
it. See what's on screen here? There it is, man.
Yep. Yeah.
I think that it's a combination of I call it realm earth, because when you consider the firmament, and to say that it's flat, to me, it doesn't make sense when you look at this, because it's not. There you had the firmament of the dome,
Right.
and there are biblical verses. I have that in here. Actually, I should pull that one. I believe that the terra that we're on is earth, and the water is flat, but the entire system certainly could be spherical. To consider the dome and shoal underneath. So that's why I guess I say realm earth. And these are all I like this one because it shows all the biblical verses where it says, because you get the normies that'll be like, oh, it doesn't say it in the Bible. Well, yeah, it actually
Over. Yeah.
Yeah. The way that the Bible describes it seems to be that it's a flat, static, non-moving. Not to mention.
Well, yeah, and I like the sign language. That's the sign language for Earth.
What do you mean? Extrapolate.
Did you see it? That's the sign language for Earth, right? It's flat palm and a dome. That's the sign
okay. I
language
see.
for
You're okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me get you on. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again.
Yeah. So that's the sign language for Earth, right there.
You're throwing up gang signs, bro.
Yeah. Earth.
Easy E's gonna come at you from the grave.
Flat. Not flat, right? So it's flat and it's also not flat.
So yeah, that's why I say realm earth, because I guess there's a little bit of I don't know. You for number one, it's like when someone's labeled a conspiracy theorist, people, the normies, automatically just throw everything out that you say.
Yeah, but it's a badge of honor these days. What have I been wrong about? I've been like throwing shit out there, just trying to be wrong lately.
True. I'm not saying I disagree with you. Yeah, but they
man, fuck it. Birds are fake, man. Birds are fake.
Surreal, yeah. And all architecture is labeled Tartarian architecture, and everything is a mud flood if there's a hill on a house on a hill. But
that's right.
So yeah, let me go back into the chat and say what's up. Does anybody have any questions or like contradictory stuff? Because we're just laying out realm earth gravy here. I hope that people are staying up with and not getting too bored with this. Again, I'm kind of hip firing here. I'm not really going. There goes your. I'm not really going off of a.
I got. Check out. See if there's any questions. So, I've probably shared it before. It's always worth resharing. I just read Prometheus. Not Prometheus. Perseus to my boy. And one of the Norse story of how Odin became wise, and in both of those stories, so one's Greek, right? The Perseus story, and the other one is Norse, right? And they both use similar terminology when they're describing the realm and where they go in and about the realm. And for Odin, when he goes out to drink from the well of
Mimir
wisdom. Yeah.
Well.
When he goes out and meets the giant, it says specifically in those stories, he goes to a place where the sky meets the ocean. So that little picture you just showed there is where the sky meets the ocean.
The firmament.
Yeah.
I got a couple of pictures of the firmament here. Here goes one. So where the sky meets the ocean.
Yep.
Sky meets the ocean. You got there. You go. Yeah, and then check this out also about elephants. If you closely, obviously this is a
Right.
cartoon stylized, but
Yeah.
some people know things, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why would they
I
put
mean,
that there? It looks like a fucking elephant, dude.
it could be turtles and elephants.
Yeah, like the natives, dude. Honestly, the turtle is features heavily in the native creation myths, and damned if they're not similar. Their creation myths are very similar to creation
Oh, yeah.
myths of Europe and stuff like that. You know, it's
I've got a great book that this guy, it's called Paradise Found. And I think it's Paradise Found, Garden of Eden at the North Pole. That book, this guy goes into every single mythology that he could find, and they all point to the same type of realm as far as size and dimension, and they all speak to the magnetic mountain at the North Pole. And
Miro?
basically, yeah. Every single cosmology has a story about it. Every single one.
Yeah. I would also recommend people faithful looking into this YouTube channel called Understanding Conspiracy, because he looks at history through the lens of his faith, and that it's all progenies of Nephilim, and that he does this a very similar thing where he goes through all the mythologies and even folklore of like villages and smaller tribes throughout the whole face of the realm, man. Understanding Conspiracy. Shout out to that dude, because he's put in extensive work and he's writing a book about it. I always keep an eye on what he's doing, because he's big into like the whole clown trope of the clowns are actually a characterization actually of the fallen Nephilim that the Masons put forth at the turn of the last century. Just I would say that not all Masons. I'm not pigeonholing all Masons, Freemasons, not at all. There is a certain sect of them, I think, that are of the dark side, of the Promethean nature, the Dionysus. But I'm certainly not painting all Masons with that brush. But
killer clowns from outer space.
There's something to that, man, because in that movie, yeah, I'm a movie guy, man. I got some. They do mention in that movie, they actually do mention the ancient alien hypothesis that we were the whole Enki thing. Because when I say Promethean, the others who placate to the light and have forsaken, our faith, in my opinion, that's Promethean is just a modern Enki of Mesopotamia. You had Enki and Enlil.
Right.
It's just, and again, that goes the reiterations of mythology being brought forth throughout time. So, yeah, it's like we're telling the same story. And if all these cultures and even folklores have a similar thing, how it baffles my mind that people would be like, yeah, but, black holes in space. It's like, yeah, face palm, totally. And then you see something like this on screen. Again, let me give a shout out to Instagram, John Easy. He took these a long time ago, and I've been meaning to share them. So it's like, I don't know. John Levi might look at this and say that's a building. Clearly, you see the door here. And I would call these Legolas, but I think these are more akin to. Shout out to John Levi. He's going to be on Coast to Coast AM. He shouted me out a long time ago. I owe a lot of subs to John, so I don't.
Cool.
I don't agree with, yeah, definitely. He shouted me out a couple times.
Cool, man.
Yeah, I don't agree with everything that he says about melted buildings and meltage but we don't have to agree on everything. I think that's what's lost in a lot of these younger generation. I feel like an old man, but we disagree on stuff. You know what I mean? So you don't have to agree with the tenets of everybody's argument in order to appreciate what they put forth. So shout out John Levi. And then, yeah, I don't know, man. What do you like? Is it rock? Are these? So again, let's bring up there is something about the pillars of creation. Okay. That's why I call certain rock Legoless, because I do think some rock is like the rock that breaks apart evenly. That may have been made from creation itself. Okay. In my opinion. So it's like, is it that? Or is it like remnants of trees? Or is it remnants of, because I understand why I'm going to show the video of, again, John Easy. Shout out. Instagram. I've been meaning to share this for a minute, but here we go. I can understand why some people think that it looks like melted buildings. And he's got a great shot. I'm not sure how this is coming off quality wise. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Excuse me. But it almost looks like, can you see this, MoonJazz?
Mm-hmm.
It does almost look like, these are columns down here. And it's like there's arches up here, but that could be natural cleaving. And I wouldn't just say that it's melted buildings because it looks like it.
Looks like trees.
To me, more yeah.
Looks like trees to me.
But then they'll say like this stuff out here, like columns and stuff. I don't.
I've seen some things that do look like a petrified city. I've seen petrified mushrooms. I've seen all kinds of like giants. There's things that have been petrified, I think, more recently than others. Right. I think that this is something that happens again and again.
It's been shown to happen. Yes, it can happen like in pipes and everything, or this place called Lake Nitron in Africa, I think, or it could turn animals into something that is similar to stone quickly. So I do believe that process can happen a lot faster. It does seem like that, right?
They found 12-foot diameter oysters that are like petrified, but they're oysters. Like they. So
obviously it's recent.
Yeah.
All right, so let's hop off back here, go hop in the chat and see what's going on and get some feedback. And maybe we could talk about this bad boy. So I got this in one of my scientist books. I gotta find the
cool. Yeah. I guess Longbow. I didn't know he wanted me to keep it or not. But I thought he just wanted me to play around with it at the festival. He bought one of those magnifying glasses that people are using to like burn rocks and focus in the sun rays.
Oh, you mean this? I got you.
Yeah. So when he showed me he had it, I have one of my pyramids that I put quartz capstones on. Yeah, that thing. He bought one of those things. We didn't play around with it in the sun. I wanted to play around with it with moonlight. So I did a little bit, and it did illuminate my quartz somewhat. I think I need to scale it up some, but I was able to focus in the moonlight and get it down to a point and hit it on a quartz capstone. I drilled out my pyramid and put another quartz capstone underneath it, so that it would refract down and then back up. It did glow. It wasn't spectacular like I was hoping for, but it did glow in the moonlight.
So you're talking about this capstone right here that you made again, MacGyver.
Yeah.
MacGyver.
That was my first one right there. I got some that look a little better than that guy. But yeah.
I seen that when I was perusing down through your Instagram.
That one is on top of my electroculture rod in the middle of my salsa garden. And what was interesting about the electroculture experiment this year was that it's a 10-foot stake that I have wrapped with copper, and I soldered and capped it with that pyramid. So I had one tomato plant that was closer than the rest of them, and that one tomato plant that was closest to that electroculture rod
grew better,
like twice the size of everything else, and it grew straight up, and it didn't even need any supports for a while. It fell over just recently, but it was growing straight up and didn't need to be supported.
I love it. That's what I'm talking about. See, that's MacGyver, Mr. Wizard, MoonJazzBear, dude, for real. All right, so let's get into this. I'm going to show some stuff going back to Realm Earth now. And I mentioned Rob Skiba earlier. And if people are still questioning stuff, there's a great little video. And maybe this will jog some stuff. And Liberty Step Bear, you still want to hop up? I'm ready, man. I think I'm going to have to I'll DM you a link. But let's show this first. And then I got a video that does a good job that I took myself of fireworks And this, when you have a fireworks and you see the skeleton of this firework, the smoke, and how it travels in the. I got a great example. I shared it on Instagram before, but I forgot to send it to you, MoonJazzBear. So let's do I'm going to layer some Realm Earth gravy here, gravy from Rob Skiba regarding how it can appear that a sunset can happen on a flat plane. And you might be familiar with this one, but it's worth showing because he does a great job with it. Where are you at, Rob? Rest in peace, Rob Skiba.
Show what happens with the sun, and I think it may solve some interesting problems. I'll show that in this video. And I just want to revisit something before we do that, and that is the fact that there is a lot of water in our atmosphere. I went to a few websites. I just did a Google how much water is in the atmosphere, and this is the USGS website, usgs.gov, Science for a Changing World. The USGS Water Science School talks about there is always water in the atmosphere. Clouds are, of course, the most visible manifestation of atmospheric water, but even clean air contains water in particles that are too small to be seen. One estimate of the volume of water in the atmosphere at any one time is about 3,100 cubic miles, or 12,900 cubic kilometers. And it goes on to say that if all the water that's in the atmosphere were to rain down at once, it would cover the globe to a depth of about 1 inch. And this is confirmed on a number of websites, but I'll just show you one more just for the sake of argument here. This is the Y Files, the science behind the news. They have an article, how much water is in the atmosphere. It says, at any moment, the atmosphere contains an astounding 37.5 million billion gallons of water in the invisible vapor phase. This is enough water to cover the entire Earth, land and ocean, with 1 inch of rain. And of course goes on to talk about that as well. So yeah, there's a lot of water in the atmosphere. I think we all kind of just know that, but I don't think we've ever really thought about what that means. And so I was thinking about that in the previous video, and so I'm going to go ahead and play just sort of some highlights from that previous video to set the stage for what I think is going on with the sun and the moon also. Here we go. But I'm thinking if the atmosphere, especially over water, is made up of zillions and zillions of tiny convex drops of water, then collectively, perhaps they all combine to make one big convex lens, in which case it would act like a magnifying glass.
Boom.
Okay, so with that in mind, let's look up some websites dealing with the refraction of light. You might see a graphic, something like this, showing light bending downward, just like the weatherman guy said. And here's your typical graphic showing how light rays entering some sort of medium, like in this case water, refraction causes the light to bend downward. Now, we've all seen pictures of, a pencil or something in a glass of water, and how not only does refraction bend the image downward, it also magnifies it. I'm going to say that again. Water causes refraction, bending the image downward, and magnifies it.
The science is the same of that of a lens. Here's a simple example.
So if you're looking at Chicago here, just maybe now you can just see the top of the Sears Tower, and if our simulated temperature inversion moves into place, hopefully now you can see pretty much all of Chicago,
all the lower buildings,
including what's at ground level.
So the atmosphere really is acting like a lens.
Yes.
Here's what I came up with. I've got my magnifying sheet frame, and I created a little stand to paste the sun on it and keep it the same height over the flat surface of a table. So the sun is always going to be parallel with the surface. And check this out. Right. Here's the first test of a sun moving over a flat surface. And with no atmospheric magnification, it does what we might expect that it would. It gets smaller as it goes away from us. All right, now let's see what happens when we add in our atmospheric magnification. Again, water and refraction. Water causes magnification and refraction, right? So let's bring the sun back. Oh, check this out. Refraction bends the light downward. It made the sun set on a parallel surface as it was moving parallel, the same height, the whole way over a flat surface. The refraction caused the sun to set. Not only that, well, let's bring in the beginning of that little test, and we see that it maintained pretty much the same size too. Pretty close. And of course, that's because as it's moving away, the magnification is still taking place. And so even though the sun's further away than it was in the beginning of the test, the magnification basically preserved the same size, and the refraction made it set. Now, I'm just going to put forward a crazy idea for you to think about. And that is, if Rob Skiba could figure this out, I'm just going to go out on a limb here. I think it's quite possible that the creator of the cosmos could have figured out the same thing and engineered our beautiful sunsets, thanks to all that water he placed in our atmosphere.
Well done, Rob Skiba. Well done. I love that one. Now I'm going to show one that I did. Sorry that was so long, MoonJazz, and I appreciate you, bro. I'm probably going to bring Liberty Step Bear up on here, get some new blood in here. But I also, now I want to show this. I want people to see this. I'm going to explain this. In light of what Skiba just showed, okay, again, shout out to Skiba and rest in peace. During the 4th of July, me and the family, we walked down to the Niagara River. It's right down the street from my parents' house, right? And you can actually see up and down Niagara River from where we're at, and everybody's, all the different townships and everything, even in Canada. Shout out to Canada, Grungy Blues Bear. You can see all the fireworks going off. And then, like I asked you earlier, when the firework goes off, it has a smoke skeleton, I call it, right? And they drift in the air. Now let's extrapolate here, because I noticed something. I've noticed this a couple years ago, but I was never able to recreate it, whatever. And when I was telling my buddies, yo, look, this proves the flag, they're like, shut up, shut the fuck up. Firework skeletons. Now, when the firework goes off, again, this is right down the street from my house, and this is a very good example. Now, the air and the wind is coming off of the river, so it's blowing these cloud skeletons parallel with the ground, 100% for sure parallel. I'm at an angle right now where this is looking like it actually looks like it's setting.
All right, I want you guys to think about this.
Here we go.
We know that that's not going down. It's going parallel with the ground, but it looks like it's setting. I give a shout out to Rob Skiba.
There you go.
Okay, that's what the sun's doing, y'all, in my opinion.
As you can see, I was a little excited to see that, but that's what we believe as what is happening in a sunset. Okay. It's an illusion. Allegedly, could it be that? So I know for sure that smoke is moving parallel with the ground.
No, you're fucking crazy, dude.
And you're with me.
Nah, man, that proves the spin of the earth. Right there. We're spinning. We're spinning. That thing's stationary. There is no way that
smoke just going away.
True.
Parallel with the ground.
Am I explaining that right? So I'm trying to tell my buddy Mookie here. Shout out to Mookie. He was born in Palestine. He's definitely Habibi, and he stood up in my wedding. Great man, and he's praise be to Allah. So you can hear Mookie in the background giving me a little bit of. He's listening to me. He doesn't want to say it outright, but.
Good question.
I thought it was a full moon yesterday. What the fuck is the moon, man?
Good question.
That's Mookie.
I thought it was a full moon yesterday.
Can't really see this one, but here you go. Against that tree, it looks like it's going down towards the tree.
Is that smoke setting, or is that smoke just going away?
You see what I'm talking about? You see how it's going, looking?
Exactly. It looks like it's going. The point I'm trying to make here is it looks like it's going down. It looks like it's setting.
Am I making sense there? Here we go. This might be a better one. I might get a copyright from Lisa Loeb. All I'm trying to show is that even though the smoke is moving parallel with the ground, it appears to be going down and setting. That's it. That's what I wanted to show. And you can see that with firework examples. So what do you think about that, Moon Jazz?
Yeah, I think it just proves that the Earth's spinning.
How dare you? Okay, yeah. so we got Tall Oaks. What's up? Carbon Rich. 7-Eleven Lucas Bear, good to see you. Rob had it right. Yeah, I agree. Robbie says, thank you, brother. Love this. We got some, Robbie's another one of my sleuthing buddies that we're going to be going out to. Well, he's got to get a little, get over a little bit of a cold with the family. But we were going to go down South Buffalo and check out Red Jacket's ceremonial grave marker for my history sleuthing and stuff like that. So he's got a channel. Go follow him, everybody. And FlowCal Bear, I appreciate that audio. Okay, thank you. I think I was getting feedback from my headphones, so
it's good now.
Okay,
yeah, I got
cool.
to meet FlowCal.
FlowCal, yeah. So FlowCal, was he? Were you at the?
Yeah,
the
he was. I got to meet him. I got to meet a ton of people, man. It was super cool.
I think this is a perfect time to show the gravy that I have from Big Bear, being that OG Unbearable. That's actually the picture of Owen on the comedy club. Actually, he said he was next to that sow, Amy Schumer, and this picture's actually doing her justice.
Doing her justice, yeah.
That's got to be Owen, I would think. And then shout out to Joe Gagan. I'm going to show my official verification. And this will actually date for some of you new Cubs around how long old Berserker Bear's been unbearable. Here we go. You ready for this one, Moon Jazz? I'm going to play this and I'll enter in Liberty Stead Bear. Get some fresh blood. So I appreciate everybody in the chat sticking around. There you go, Mr. Priest. No longer spamming chat. Fucking guy over here. Did you share Static in the Attic channel show, Mr. Brees? How fucking dare you? No, I'm just joking. I like Static in the Attic. All right, so here we go. This is it.
Berserker Bear. Welcome, Berserker. Please, can I be known as Berserker Bear? Welcome, Berserker Bear. You know the story of the Berserkers?
Do I?
It was actually the Bear Clan of the Vikings. They just set those dudes loose. Those guys were maniacs. They did so much damage that we still use the word berserk. Going berserk.
Yes, BB. I know, my friend. Definitely. So that was it. So shout out to Joe Gagan because he actually was going back and categorizing and cataloging all the old BB stuff, and he came across that, and he sent that to me. So Telecaster Bear, I appreciate you, buddy. Yeah, for real. I don't go back to listen to the old one. I'm always listening to the live, right? But yeah. So let's see what else is going on here. Other grave. Oh, speaking of which, I'll show this. So this is fitting. Check that out. This is Oswego, Big Bear's hometown. Now, clearly you can see mud flood evidence right here. And I think that is Antiquitech. Is that a Antiquitech ether? Some researchers, man, call everything. Oh, it's all Tartaria. I'm joking there, tongue in cheek. Don't fucking crucify me. You know who you are. And I'm not afraid of anybody crucifying me, man. But I get some slack, man. Me, Ewar, Wooden Nickels, because you could literally see in the history of my view counts from when I removed Tartaria from my fucking title on my YouTube channel. Again, please don't take this personal. Anybody who's in the alternative history field or whatever, I'm being a little bit flippant here, but I'm always from the high ground. But I could tell for sure my views dropped off like crazy when I removed Tartaria. So that kind of gave me a sense a couple of years ago that there was something going on. And then the work that I've done with Wooden Nickels and Ewar, shout out to those guys. we're labeled as the flip-flop crew because people think that we turn our backs on everybody because we got a little bit more due diligent about our research with Tartaria and mud flood. It's not all Tartaria. It wasn't all mud flooded. It's like, get a grip, guys. We can agree to disagree, you know, but it's like, oh, chill much? Just like when Owen says that, it's hilarious. So these are pictures, though, from Oswego, which is cool. And this is that Star Fort that he always talks about. Cohorn, Menno von Cohorn style fortifications. Old. I've been meaning to get out here with my research to go out to Oswego, but it's quite a ride. So,
man, can you go? Is that a public fort that you can go check out?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I don't have the I don't have my Google Earth up right now. I don't want to load it and boot it, but yeah, that definitely you can go check out. This is a really cool picture right here, man.
Have you been there yet?
Yeah, I've been there. Actually, me and my wife and my little girl love going to Oswego because we were at Little Sodas Bay for a vacation before, and it was near there. We drove into there. It is a beautiful place, for sure. And watch this old world picture. Send open with. There you go. While that's on the screen, I'm going to get Liberty Stud Bear in here. And any other gravy that you want to ladle about the firmament or whatever in the meantime, bear with me 1 second here.
That's amazing.
Isn't that? Yeah, that's amazing. Isn't that a cool picture, though? Clearly,
Yeah.
we have ether antennas here. Clearly, there goes mud flood. That's a cartouche there. I'm making fun of somebody, but in good humor or in good all above board. Okay, here we go, Liberty Stud Bear. Been a while. So I've had Liberty Stud Bear on before, doing the history of like gaming and like truth drops through gaming, and I think I'm going to play. As a matter of fact, I just sent it out to you, Liberty Stud Bear. That jogs my memory to play a cool clip here because this will actually a truth drop through media through a game that shows the cycle of things. When, like I mentioned earlier, when I always say we say they, the archons, the elites, the rich, we are a part of that also. Hold up the mirror of humility because they're selling us back. They're selling us back our vices and our need for convenience and everything. And that's why I believe in the bear community so much because number one, Owen's a fucking comedian. Everyone's got to get their panties in a bunch about it. He's a fucking comedian. We should be blessed that we have a truther comedian that can see shit like this.
Yeah.
All the fact that he gets astounds me. But it just shows he's over the target. Now, the recidivism, I guess, the revolving door of like the I've said numerous times that mob that joined or that the torches and pitchforks that wants to go and burn down the castle or the elites in their ivory towers. I've been saying be mindful of that and stay away from it because that mob, the woke mob, whatever you want to call it, they burn themselves out before they start killing each other before they even get to the destination. So the rhetoric of they, archons, elites, be mindful of that. And always keep in mind that they're just selling our own vices back to us. Okay. So there is a give and take. And I think this is exemplified in this clip right here from Go Figure Assassin's Creed. And let's see if we have Liberty Stud Bear. I did send it to your Instagram, Brohim. So this is a clip from Assassin's Creed Syndicate, I believe. And it's not just they. It's also us. I think that is a good thing to know going forward in this crazy zeitgeist that we're in. Oh, there he goes. Okay, perfect. And this is a clip from Assassin's Creed Syndicate, I believe. And it's not just they. It's also us. I think that is a good thing to know going forward in this crazy. Oh yeah, you might have to mute that, Liberty Stud Bear, and I don't have your video. Hold on 1 sec while you get that squared.
We just went back in time.
Device not. It's saying device not connected. You might need to holler at Oil Slick Bear or what's it?
Ethernet Gary.
Yeah. Hold on. I might have to send you. Try the link again. I'm going to remove that because it's giving you no disconnect. Sorry, Liberty Stud. I'm going to kick from studio. Oh, hold on. Oh, no. Okay, here we go. Assassin's Creed, be mindful of the mob. Gaming and truth. Oh, here we go. I have this titled Death of a Robber Baron.
You've stolen your last shilling from the people of London.
Those animals squander their savings. We are the experts in investment. Nothing would be built or improved. Nothing would rise above the muck without our hand guiding. No creating the future. They benefit as much as their work. It is their city, not yours. Without our investments, there would be no city.
For the path of the dead.
For Karan. So very simple, very short, but very matter of fact and to the point. They're selling our need for service and convenience right back to us. I probably said that freaking 5 times in the past 5 minutes. So we got Michael Joshua Lewis came into the chat. Good to see you. How are you? Robbie Red, forgive me. But what is Flat Earth, homie? How dare you? Okay, I'm gonna send. Okay, Liberty Stud-Bear, I'm gonna send that again.
It's iron.
Yeah, what
He's
you got?
iron.
Yeah, what you got going on there? It sounds like you're in like Freddie's. You guys see my backdrop? I'm pretty proud of it, actually.
Hell yeah.
Freddie's boiler room. Here goes Freddie right there. See him? Maybe I think.
Bro,
oh, go ahead.
You've got that. You've got that figurine of. Is it like Hellboy? Like who's got the unicorn horn?
Darkness from Legend with Tom Cruise back in the day. One of the illest depicted devils I've ever seen on screen ever. Tim Curry.
Well, I don't know anything about any of that. What I do know was when I seen that, I was going through some mega gravy with reading the Bible and finding syncs with astrology and the I think it's in multiple verses. It's in Psalms, it's in the New Testament, where it talks about we've called out to you through we've called out to you, O Lord, through ram's horns. And I was reading all that, and then I seen that picture of the devil holding a ram's horn. Whoa. And I'm like, that is 1-to-1 exactly what I was looking into. Like that was a depiction of the devil taking control of our mind, of our higher mind, of our Aries, of our horn, in which we call out.
Gravy. Like, was that kind of like a little bit of a sync there?
Yo, yeah, big time.
Yeah, we have a lot of syncs together, dude. Seriously. I'm gonna close this. I'm sending the link. We're not getting a little stagnant here. Maybe we are, but I sent the link to Liberty Stud-Bear again. That's what happens when you're live. Please forgive me, people who are listening, for the lulls and stuff, or me looking back and forth between windows. That's what you get when you're live. I hope you've had cool enough time thus far. MoonJazzBear and I ladle in some gravy, and again, we got Liberty Stud-Bear hopefully on the way. So is anybody, is that SG? Oh, wow. We got a big hitter in here. This is OG. Everybody give a shout out to and go follow SGD Sacred Geometry Decoded. I was put onto you from Wood and Nichols, and I think your work is awesome. So thank you very much. I'm humbled for you to be here. This guy gets it right here. Okay. Looking at the truther stuff through a very due diligence type of way. Not, I wouldn't say that you're going up against dudes like Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock, but you're causing people who follow them to think a little bit more about it, which is exactly what we're trying to promote here also. And Michael Joshua Lewis, good to see you. So I'm not sure if Liberty, let me see what's going on. Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you. Thank you for your work. I'm humbled that you're here, truly. Yeah, SGD does work like ancient, like what you were doing earlier, the last one that you went and you were doing some boots on the ground at that museum in Sydney. That was very cool. Boots on the ground, I like to say field work. But not everything is sacred geometry. Randall Carlson talking about some of the stuff is just truth baked in, like we discussed earlier. The truth just comes out. Okay, it doesn't mean that these guys know all the Babylonian secrets and stuff like that. So again, shout out to SGD. Go sub to his channel. Here we go. Add the stage. My man, as soon as MoonJazzBear dips out, we got Liberty Step Bear. Hey, what's up, man?
How's it going?
Welcome. It's been a while. Last time, geez, when was the last time we did our
It was last year sometime.
Holy moly. Well, how you been?
Good, you?
Really good. So this is like, going forward, I wish I had more time. I would do this more often. You know what? Let me rack it over here. How dare you? There we go. I would do this more. So welcome, Liberty Step Bear of the Bear Clan for sure. We've had an episode before, history of games and stuff like that. But just you want to say what's up briefly? Say who you are and what you're about, and what ladle, what gravy are you going to ladle for us tonight, good sir?
Well,
sorry, Moonjazz, I muted you, bro.
For one, I want to know, where were you during the festival? Because me and Moonjazz were there, but we were wondering where is Berserker Bear and
Yeah, that's a fair question. Well, I was busy and I didn't have enough time to take from work. But I appreciate that actually. I was kind of jealous, but seeing all the Bears post everything at the Beartaria Times app and hearing about it in IG and Owen reporting in, that it wasn't as good as being there, that's for sure. But vicariously appreciated it through all those posts and sharing of it. So
you're one person I was really looking forward to seeing. So
man, I appreciate that, honestly, for real. And I accept the ball busting, so I'll be there next year.
I saw MoonJazz there, but I had.
Speaking of MoonJazz, so we were talking about it earlier. So you guys were both there.
Yeah.
That's why I got on. He's got the shirt too. I got my unbearables on.
Oh yeah.
So my wife fixed it.
Mountain right there.
The trio. What are some notable? I guess might as well ladle. Did you actually see the bearification video that I shared? Liberty said.
Yeah, I was watching.
All right, cool, sweet. Yeah, I really shout out again, Telecaster Bear. So, what were some notable things from the actual the fest that stuck out in your mind? Right quick, might as well get that out there. I didn't even ask you that, Moonjazz. So maybe think of your answer. And
it was hot.
Was it really?
It was hot.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people there, and the breeze couldn't really get through all the tents. And even at the main tent with the comedy show and the music, there were so many cars parked next to it, the breeze couldn't get through.
So it was a little stagnant, huh? Let's see if I got it.
But it was fun. No, it was awesome. I took a Cucumber Bear rode down with me and my boys. And so he brought his rugby ball and was teaching the boys how to play rugby. And I don't know if you saw any of the posts of him sitting down with the kids when they were playing Duck, Duck, Go or Duck, Duck, Goose. Yes. My boys were there at the same time because it looked like the boys were starting to get roughhousing a little bit. They were starting like
a little rambunctious.
And he walked over there and he just got them into playing that game instead, and it worked out really well.
I got the app up on screen right now. So app.beartariatimes.com, and you can get this in the App Store. So yeah, all good, all positive information. That's what we are with the Bears. I knew that we'd be discussing that today, and I'm glad that we did because, Owen takes a lot of heat for being a public figurehead, but it takes it well. So, I even get some of the shit too when I go on these panels and stuff with shout out to Truth or Cop and whatever. And some of the Bears might ask me why I go sifting around in it because I can handle myself, number one, and I'm always going hard for the Bears. and I want to see what's going on with and stuff. I chalk body outline. I check him out, and Truther Cop, and sometimes they take some reservations with the bears, but I'm there to act as an ambassador and keep them motherfuckers in check professionally. So you know that you got Berserker Bear doing that. So that, yeah, a little short into the Bear Fest. What about you, Moonjazz? Anything stick out to you that you remember you won't ever forget? What was special? I mean, the whole thing, but.
Am I still muted?
No, man. I'm sorry. You should. Did you think you were muted the whole time?
Well,
sorry.
you said you muted me, so
No, it was
just
because there
checking.
was a banging around. My bad, bro. I didn't even realize that you thought that you were still muted. So let me get.
Oh well, my bad. If I was getting the fire going, I might have been causing some ruckus.
It's all good. We're good. Yeah. What's
so notable things? I mean, getting to meet Big Bear. That was awesome. I got to super chat him in real life before he went up to the stand to do his show, his comedy special. I was hanging out, and he got to walk by, and I had a piece of silver in my pocket, and I said, "Hey, here you go, big guy," and flipped him a silver coin. And
you're the one that gave him the silver.
A bunch of people did. Yeah, I probably wasn't the first. I don't know, but he says like, "Yeah, paying a little gateway. I see you." But yeah. So got to take pictures with him, and I was wearing my Pumpy shirt, and had a little name tag on it that said MoonJazzBear, aka USDA Bear. And everybody coming up to me for me getting roasted, I think was pretty hilarious too, because it was the last stream that he had done before the show. I said it might have been the last stream, or one of the two last streams before the show. So that was one of the last things they heard was me getting ripped on, right? So everybody was Jackalbat thought it was fucking hilarious. He was just glad somebody else was getting ripped on besides him, right? He was dying laughing about the whole ordeal. We got to spit a little gravy. I got to talk with Veritech and talk to him about some of the coatings that I dabble in and develop. It definitely could work out with some of the different weapon platforms that he works with. That was cool. I got to spit a little gravy with Gardner. I look up to him big time for all of his knowledge on different engines and material sciences and things that he talks about. I'm real big into that.
The biochar is really gravy. I think that I've been meaning to get in touch with him about the biochar, because I want to know. Not to interrupt you. Sorry, go ahead. I was asking you about the fest.
We'll bring up the biochar again. There's all different kinds of applications that it could be used for, but he's got a lot of friends that are dabbling in some of these new over Unity constructions of engines and motors. So basically, just it's a new way of looking at engineering, right? We always think that energy comes from matter and not the other way around. So it's if you have that first base, that foundation, that it's that matter doesn't create energy, right? Energy is first. But anyway, we got to spit some gravy about that. I gave him a sample of some coatings that I had developed for thermal barriers, and that could be involved in some of those types of different engineering. I got to hang out with Big Bear Fireside, and I gave him some cash when we were hanging out. I said, "Hey man, it's a good live chat you got going on here. I just figured I'd super chat." That got a good laugh. He told me a joke off the cuff. He's just like, "Hey, I forgot to tell this joke." He said, "You know how you on Google Maps it'll give you suggested routes, and there's always some longer routes. I always wondered, who would want to take the longer route." And then it dawned on me, black dads. I
dare you.
I know. I died.
It's a good one. It's hilarious. How dare you? It's a good one though. Wow. Yeah, I'm jealous, guys. I mean, Liberty Step Bear, as soon as he got up here, is like, where were you? So I'll be there next year with the family. Hopefully I'll have a new addition to the fam. Because
another cool thing I got to do.
Of course.
You know Stolen Honor Bear?
Of course I do. Remy. Shout out Remy.
So Remy, yeah, I got to chill with him a bunch. That was awesome. When he showed up, he had this nice Econoline Ford van, custom van, hardwood floors, bed in the back, and dude, he had to keep it on for like 24 straight hours because he couldn't start it back up.
No.
And I had brought a bunch of tools with me and a couple of 1/4-inch 15 by 13 plates of steel that we were going to put in a swivel chair for his passenger seat.
Damn,
So
you brought that to the fest?
yeah, I have my truck. My truck's a rolling, a rolling machine shop.
Come prepared, bro.
So I had those drops, getting ready to drill out the bolt pattern and put those in. And I went and checked out his van, and I'm trying to plug in my my OBD reader, and I can't find it. It's a 94, and I'm looking underneath the hood. I'm like, hey, turn the key on, and I'm messing around with some wires and things. I'm hoping it's not the computer, and it starts coming to life and clicking on. I'm like, dude, you got some bad copper here. So I go get some tools, come back. I snip off some of the old copper to his positive lead, strip off some new copper, put it on, boom, he's off and rolling. So he doesn't have to worry about that keeping his van on for fucking 30 straight hours to drive back to California. And that's all it was, man, was bad copper. He had a bad connection.
Oh.
So then we drilled some holes in some plates, and we got his swivel chair installed. It's a kind of like a YouTube type deal, right, where you put some plates on and some wood cutouts, and turn his passenger seat into a swivel chair. And so did some work. I was doing that work while everybody was doing the baling hay, so I didn't get out of work that day.
You weren't in the hayfield, huh?
No, I was drilling through 1/4-inch steel, man. I think I got a pass.
You were doing work at the fest, man, like a legend.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I've done enough hay, dude. I used to raise, board, and stud 20 head of horses, and dude, fuck that.
Well, you know what? I do feel like I missed out, but hearing you guys tell these stories, I mean, I feel like I was there. So, and we will be. Yeah. So I don't know. What kind of gravy did you have? Let's play some funny stuff here.
Come on over here. Come on over here. No, you flip me off. Come on, Howard. No. Come on. You're not an intellectual. You're.
Oh, I gotta. If you recognize that voice. Speaking of history, Alex Jones was caught in the Roman Empire, fronting Caesar.
Come on over here. Come on over here. No, you flip me off. Come on, Howard. No. Come on. You're not an intellectual. You're a fake and a fraud.
So yeah, Liberty Step Bear, what's new with you, man? I'm not sure what other is there any more gravy that you wanted to ladle, MoonJazzBear, off the top of your head? You want to think about it while we hear from Liberty Step Bear? Yeah, I appreciate you coming back on. We have to set up another cast where we do some more gravy, Liberty Step Bear. What's been new since our last conversation? You been doing any gaming or whatever? I've been.
No, no, not really. Actually, I stopped playing video games. I actually haven't played any until recently when my son got the new Zelda game. I completely stopped playing video games, and I stopped watching truth or porn anymore. And
there you go. Yeah, there's something to that
stuff. Like I had to focus on other things that were important, and so I kind of dropped everything that I felt like was wasting my time. And so like I've had a really, really hard time playing video games right now. But my son just got Zelda. I grew up on Zelda. Zelda's full of gravy across the board, especially the dragon stuff. And so I've been playing that with him lately. So that's been cool. Got a new job. Quit my old job, which was terrible. But now I'm managing a service department at a dealership. It's pretty small. So that's cool. They even let me borrow a car to come to the festival with. And so that's how me and Cucumber got down there.
Can't beat that.
No, they let me have the weekend off. I had 4 days off and got
gave you some wheels.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I mean, it was a small Ford Transit, but it was good on gas and it was a 9-hour drive. So, but I wish I would have known that you guys were having trouble with that van. That's what I do for a living, is work on vehicles, and 94 F-150 is my cup of tea, and it's not much different than an Econoline. So,
Right. You guys missed out.
I literally just had the same problem. I had to change out my positive battery cable because it was so rusted through and not making good contact. So I just needed some good copper.
Yeah, it was funny. I was retelling the story, and I was sitting around our campsite, and Copper Bear rolled up on us, like right when I was talking about the copper.
Oh, I did. We did. My wife decided that she wanted to divide the property because we all have shared backyards where I live. But we border with a restaurant, and she's like, I want to plant a wall of sunflowers. So we tilled the whole length of our property and planted sunflowers. And I put 3 electroculture rods between them, and you can see them, like the closer it gets to the rod, the bigger they get. And then it comes back down.
Oh yeah, MoonJazz was saying similar.
Yeah,
it comes back down, and they were the thickest and biggest heads. The closer to the rod, right next to it, they were huge. The ones that tapered away were still growing better, but like you could tell.
See, that goes to show
what was going on.
That's demonstrable.
I think you know what we need to do, guys. Besides, I almost dropped a hard end.
Hard R.
Whichever side you want to.
Yeah, I don't know why it changed from. I thought. It was
I mean, I could say vinegar, right? Vinegar.
Vinegar, yeah, like Vin Diesel.
Vinegar.
Oh no, I just wondered in general. I always thought it was hard R because it is a hard. I don't know why people.
Oh, hard R is the other one.
So I was going around the fest talking about Operation Vinegar.
Yeah.
And I wanted everybody to get together and boil some vinegar. And because Bud Bear, for the cloud busting, Bud Bear,
squirt a stone over here. Squirt a stone out of here.
Well, fair. That's fair. I haven't seen it, but Bud Bear has done it, and he's my boy. He's off. He wouldn't lie to me and said it works.
I'm busting your balls.
No, I don't care. I mean, it sounds ridiculous. I get it. It sounds absolutely fucking. But I was just like, of anything, ridiculous or not, I'm going to make a joke about it. So it was Operation VN, right? And I want to like coordinate it, right? Like everybody get their boiling pots out, and it's like, let's do some cloud busting.
Okay,
but at the same time, it's I'm also kind of nervous because we've had great weather. The weather's been great, and I don't want to fuck that up, right? I mean, we could bust all these clouds open, and then it's like fucking tornadoes and hailstorms that come down.
Yeah,
it was like,
a hurricane on.
Yeah, right.
But that's a good example, though. I mean, you had more people doing it. So what popped off? Did you guys bring on?
The operation hasn't occurred yet.
Oh, it hasn't occurred yet.
No, we needed a coordinated attack, right?
I like
it. And Bud Bear said that like there was legit planes coming in, like when he did it, like coming through the area where he busted the clouds. So there is some weird shit happening, and I'm sure it has something to do when you're breaking down those compounds of hydrogen and carbon, and you're just expelling them into the air. It's probably something to do with pressure. Probably changes the pressure right underneath it, and then that's what's dissipated. And we can get a whole discussion on cloud gravy too, because I've seen some shit in clouds that don't make any sense. I've seen things, right, that seem lifelike, that are and like moving and things that's surreal. I think clouds may be everything in this realm is fractal. Everything is just like what the thing you were showing about Skiba and how the water magnifies everything. It's just like that got me thinking about what clouds are and that type of magnification of water. And we're water beings, right? We're just denser than most water, and air is just less dense water. And then you can see the fractals happening there, right? So what clouds could be something that we don't even understand.
Clouds are hiding truth in plain sight.
They could be. I've seen some shit. I've seen beings that look like human beings in the clouds. I got one picture. I shared it with you a couple years ago, Berserker. That's fucking crazy. My wife took a picture of it, and she is not one to even be anywhere near the level that I am when it comes to this stuff. She was just like, it was undeniable. It was weird as fuck. I had to take a picture of it.
Jog my memory.
It was there was I'll send it to you again. It was three people in the clouds. It was like a giant figure as far as like build. Like it was all huge because it was clouds. There was a more human shaped figure carrying a baby, and then there was another figure that had horns. It was dude, it's why. And even the picture that she showed me, she's like, this picture doesn't do it justice, but like these things were like walking around in the clouds.
That's fascinating, and it makes me think of when you said the Norse earlier. The clouds were created from
the Mistlands,
Ymir's brain. So that makes me think of thought. Thinking of when Odin killed Ymir and made the Celestials, and his body was or his bones were the rocks and the stuff. Again with Titans and everything. So there is, and again, I've wondered. Because I've said this to my wife, bring up a wife. She's not on my level at all, but she placates to me and she's, listens. And I'm like, I tell her that I see things in the clouds. Or nowadays, I've always looked up and I've always appreciated, again, astronomy and just looking where most don't. Right. Nowadays, though, in this day and age, or zeitgeist, it seems to me like the clouds are taking on more of a dynamic. Almost like I pulled this up so I can like kind of demonstrate the possibility. Do you think that it's possible that the firmament could expand? Because
100%. That's how everything was bigger. I think we went through like a depressurization event, and like it kind of collapsed down on us some. So it probably goes through cycles like that. It probably goes down and then back up. I think if you just think of life, think of breathing, I think our realm is going to also breathe. It's going to take in big long breaths and contract and expand.
I wanted to bring that up because at least from what my understanding, we talked about this last time, Berserker, that there's a lot more water in this part of the realm now than there used to be. That I don't believe in a Pangea where it broke apart. The way I understand it is there was an opposite of what now. So where they say it's 75% water and 25% land. It was like 15% land or 15% water and 85% land. So if that after the flood changed the pressure, could that have contributed to that?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's 100% feasible to deposit. This is the kind of stuff that fascinates me. And I was thinking with the cloud thing, it almost looks like they're occupying a space that's bigger. They seem more dynamic to me than they did as when I was a kid. And my wife, I brought up her, she'll say, "Oh, you just weren't looking at them back in the day." I'm like, "Oh, yes, I was, babe. I was always paying attention to where other people weren't, looking up at night in the middle of the night, seeing the moving stars." So I don't know, it's the whole never-ending story thing too, like Fantasia. It's people's imagination. Are we actually creating, I'm not saying creating like God or whatever, but there's something to that, you know, like the nothing
I-
approaches.
Have you
think
noticed
that-
how when it's just natural clouds, it's like the most pristine painting you've ever seen? But if you get any one of the chemtrails or anything in there, it just throws it off. Like, but if
Yeah.
you get a chance to
Yeah.
see just perfect natural clouds, it's like the most wonderful thing you've ever seen.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah, and then you take into account the possible, like the lunar wave or whatever. That speaks to me like the firmament. Like maybe it wasn't a lunar wave. And Crow.
Oh no, it's a water wave.
Yeah, I think it's
The moon
actually
is behind it.
I think it's actually like one of these rings on the firmament. I think it's actually a wave going around the firmament, and we could only see it as it transits like the moon or something,
But
because
it
you wouldn't
looks
see
like
it otherwise.
it's a television or a screen refresh is what it looks like.
Speaking of, this is my back and forth to Crow a long time ago. When, geez, May 17th. Not 7 days ago, that's for sure. This is like in 2020. And the firmament, the lunar wave that he recorded initially and done so much work on it, when he was first initially talking about it, not knowing what it was, I'm like, man, what if it was a firmament wave? And right here shows that he believes that it was a firmament wave also. No plane. So let me see on it. Yeah, anyway, that might not be the right one, but I just took a snapshot of my communication with Crow, because point I'm getting at is Crow necessarily doesn't think it's a moon wave, even though it's called a lunar wave, because that's where he's seen it. He's of the notion, and I haven't listened to Crow in a while, shout out to him, but he is of the notion that it was a firmament wave. Whatever that is, who knows? But it seems to be more plausible in the firmament diagram than trying to explain what we see in firmament wave in the heliocentric model, because they're not giving any answers at all. So I felt that necessary to share.
Well, they also think they can get through it.
Oh yeah, that's the whole. Again, maybe I should show that. The Woketown. Shout out to
Have
Matt.
I ever told you my flat moon paradox?
Oh no, go ahead. Ladle the gravy.
If we believe the moon is closer because it's within the firmament, then it's more plausible that you could land on it, even though you still can't land on it. That's the flat moon paradox.
I see what you're getting at. Okay, so I think it's
We
a light.
think it's closer than they think it is, but you still can't land on it.
I'm of that notion, and when you listen to what they say about how they deliver it, and they say we went to the moon, you know, obviously we don't believe in that, even that they landed on it. Like how Owen says, if you really believe three Masons played golf on the moon, you're so far behind right now, you might think you're leading. When they say they went to it, I think they may have tried to get to it while they were learning about what it was, and maybe that it was just a light. Maybe they got near it or to the area of the sky where they thought it was. And then, I don't know, like Dave Weiss says, shout out to Dave Weiss, the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac app, whatever. If it keeps on moving away from you as you try to get closer to it because it's a mirage or a light or an effect of, what do you think about this MoonJazzBear, the parabolic mirror thing? You know, like, is this happening? We've talked about this before. Oh my goodness, where is it?
I think that the closer you
Refraction.
get to it, the slower the vibration, and it slows you down and doesn't let you get through it.
Could it possibly be that like we try to get there, like we went and got near it, and when they say we went there, that's what they're referring to? You know how they do their.
No, I think it's all. I think all of their stuff is Hollywood, and what they're claiming to do is a narrative. That's all.
Good point.
I don't think they got. Well, actually, I have seen some stuff that in the Arctic, or I don't remember which one it was. They were trying to drill through it, and the claim is they drilled through it, and they came back the next day because they left the equipment in it, and it all sealed back up.
Right.
And it's blue. They call it blue ice or something, or sky ice or something.
Sky ice. Yep.
It's cold, but it doesn't melt. It turns into a gas.
It just sublimates right in front of you.
I don't know if that's true or not, but that sounds more plausible than what they want us to believe.
Yep, I've seen that. They were pumping that on Discovery Channel History, like Ancient Aliens.
I just think I think it's a different form of water.
Yeah.
Right. That's get like more oxygen rich or whatever. Just like Big Bear just showed the guy recently on stream that found the more dense saline water under the ocean.
Ooh, I got something on that.
Still,
the rivers of Eden flow under the ocean.
Boom. Like those brine pools.
And the thermal vents are what caused the divide between the Atlantic and the Pacific. So you know that divide where it's gray, where it's green and brown.
Dude, these things are gravy. Yeah, these things are gravy.
Coming up from the waters below are causing that divide, and there are literal rivers that run under the ocean. You cannot push through it because the pressure pushes you back. But they are the rivers that feed Eden. The garden is not with Eden; it is fed by Eden. You could wherever you think Eden is. I think it would be the North Pole, and those rivers feed everything. And if it's true that there was only 15% water post flood, and those rivers existed then, they still have to exist now, but they're under the ocean.
Dude, and Big Bear was talking about these brine pools a couple days ago, and I remember these things from History Channel back in the day because that one famous dude with the long gray hair, I first seen him share one of these things, and there is a buoyancy thing when you try to go into them. It is liquid, so scientists will say that these brine pools are heavily laden brine, they're thicker than the regular ocean water because they're so thick with salt. Now they could just be, they literally act like lakes at the bottom of the ocean. If you can see it, we're at the bottom of the ocean here, but they actually have like shorelines, and these things ripple with waves. And you can think it's just a pond at the bottom of the ocean, which is what they suspect. What if they're not? What if they're actually portals to this? Straight up.
Waters of the deep.
Yeah. Yep. That's what we're for viewers who are on the fringe or think that we're crazy here. We're not. Consider the possibility. Okay. You guys believe in dinosaurs. Okay. I'm not. Of course, I'm being tongue in cheek a little bit. We're being humorous here, but and you also believe in the heliocentric model of black holes and singularities and bendy space-timey and stuff like that. So it's like, take a step back and just consider the possibility. Okay. So yeah, these brine pools have something to do, I think, with possibly the waters, the deep waters below, like you're saying, primary waters. And then that brings in the dragon aspect also, because a lot of mythologies, namely I'd say Mesopotamian, Sumerian, like Apsu is the dragon of the deep, so is Ker, and they represent the primordial water. But is it just a grand cycle of things also? So it's like Ewar and I talked about this before, how the Telluric currents might be representations of the dragons. I'm not chalking up that 100% though. I think that that's a good representation of what dragons were. The energy lines moving through the ground. I recommend listening to Ewar and mine's chat on that. But again, antediluvian, some of the fallen angel Nephilim were serpentine. And some of these power line blood leads placate to the serpentine aspect of deity worship, pagan deity worship. So
isn't all the Chinese astrology constellations actual animals except for what they call a dinosaur? I mean, a dragon.
I'm not 100% sure, but that's a good. Let's see.
Why is that one thrown out? Like, why is that one the mythical one that everybody just made up? Like,
no, because you're crazy. That's why.
It only makes sense that dragons are more involved.
This guy said realm Earth
mankind than any other being.
That's a good
because
point.
Even on my because I collect different types of Bibles too, but my Aramaic Targum talks about how the serpent had its legs taken out from underneath it. And I'm like, what kind of serpent has legs?
A drake.
Made to crawl on its belly afterwards. I mean, I don't know of any other type of serpent.
There's a
know,
type
these
of dragon.
giant that
There
might
is a type of dragon that has feet on its belly that's called a drake, but I know what you're getting at, definitely. And check this out. This is again, this is an Oriental belief, a way of looking at feng shui, and how it's like why did these ancient Orientals arrive at something like this? And certain mountains, they say, can exemplify a dragon essence. You know, right here. And I came across this website a while ago when I was researching my original dragon episode way back. Go check it out. I'll keep it in the description. And so I just came upon this article, doing my due diligence and my research. Some research you can't get out in the field for. So I'm not saying that I don't use the computer ever, obviously, but go figure. The article that I got this from, I always save the links, right? And a lot of times, guys, when I go over stuff and I try to go back to it, I'm telling you, the shit's gone. It's gone. Yeah. Well, that happened for the articles that I was doing on my peer intake for my history here in Buffalo. A lot of my articles that I've gone over there. Thankfully, I screen record it. Look at, check it out. So the article that I got those pictures from that we just seen on the screen is no longer there.
Have you got any good gravy out of like old like film slides or anything? Like,
not necessarily yet, but I just don't have the time for it.
I know.
Right now.
There's got to be stuff out there.
Well, that's the thing. At the time period where I posit that they built, again, one of my questions, let's go back to the history thing here. Allegedly, the foundations and this water intake was built 1875. Can't find video of it. That's another one of my main anomalies here in Buffalo. If I overturn this rock, it's fucking game over, and it has nothing to do with Tartaria. And I'm being serious as I can there, but if they can't show me how the foundations of that was, this new Google, I got to get used to it. And this bridge at 40 feet of water at 20-mile-per-hour current is damn near impossible, in my opinion, in 1875. I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but this is the research that I'm getting into here in Buffalo. And to answer your question, Liberty Step Bear, this is 1870. There probably wouldn't be any videos at that time per history, because the video or the camera didn't come out until about like late 1800s, early 1900s.
Allegedly.
Yep, exactly, off the top of my dome. But this is the local gravy that I'm getting into, and on top of this, the realm research. Anyway, how do we get into that from dragons? Western New York, this entire area, my stomping ground, is not only known as the Western Door, it's the Dragon Path also. So I've done work on that with Mason Winfield, Franklin Lavoie, another local researcher here. And yeah,
have you heard the Quetzalcoatl association with the name of America?
I believe I have a little bit. The serpent, the feathered serpent.
The natives, they called it America, so like land of the plumed serpent or whatever.
There you go.
And it associates the Quetzalcoatl.
Yeah, I did hear that, and there are there's conjecture on that because they also think goddess of Columbia. But again, going back to the whole dragon thing, why do all mythology or cultures and even folklore villagers have this common flood myth? Also, serpents as well, dragons. I think it's just a lot of fallen angels look like fucking dragons. Probably it's terrifying.
Oh, yeah. That's true too. And how they can talk and have, they can change shape and what they look like, and super intelligent. And
Mr. Narcissus, what's up, man? Welcome. Good to see you. I'm gonna hop back into the chat here, and I'm not sure. I don't want to get too long in the tooth or too stagnant here. If anybody has questions in the chat about, we're kind of all over the place, but heck, again, it's alive. So, you guys, MoonJazz, you got any gravy to add? Because I think I might start getting ready to pack this one in.
I had a imaginary friend that wasn't imaginary. Only to my mother it was imaginary. It was real. And I called it Worm, and it was a light a serpent-like light being that lived in my hair.
How old were you?
3, 4, last I remember.
Wow. And what came to fruition of that?
I don't know, but when we talk about all these like archons and like snake like beings and shit and
It
the
brings it
land
up.
of America being more infested with those type of things, I think maybe like it might be, I think we're all born with something like that. That's kind of like our ego, right? That helps us, that our ego does help us, navigate through this place. This place can be cruel and it can be hard, and you need to be a fuck it as a man. Sometimes you've got to be a hard ass. Sometimes you've got to be a monster, and that's where maybe our ego can help out sometimes.
Good point. Yeah, every so often you need to have that fuck it in you, the gene.
Well,
right?
yeah. I mean, we're built to protect and provide for our family, and if someone's trying to take that from us, you better fucking act.
Yeah, there's a certain type. I've often thought the warrior code, the gentle warrior. I've always had a reverence for that. I'm not a violent person, but I do have a quick temper, and I can't get violent. But I look towards the positive side first and mitigation. But there's a certain type of man that I think real recognizes real, like recognizes like, that in the face of insurmountable odds and even death, you just turn and face your enemy and say, fuck it, let's go. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And faith has a lot to do with that. So I think similar people who have similar traits in that respect recognize it in others. You know what I mean? And that's a good way to put it, MoonJazzBear.
Dude, and even like the allegories, all these things you're showing, the stories of Perseus. He fights a sea dragon to get his wife Andromeda, and Saint George, and all these things like that.
Fleece.
Maybe there's probably a lot of truth in it that could be real, but it's also at the bare minimum, it is an allegory of what we battle within ourselves, right? We battle forces of nature within ourselves, and when we overcome them, it's like that's when we conquer our fears, when we conquer the beast that's within us, right? That's when we truly shine. That's when we've that resistance that's in us, man. That's how we grow. That's how we become higher and good, better role models and better fathers and warriors.
Yeah, the strongest man is one capable of extreme violence but has control of himself.
There you go. Right. You're able to perform the job if necessary, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're not going to go ever looking for it.
No.
And they taught that I'm not sure if you can see, they taught that heavily in Taekwondo. I'm grateful enough for my father put me into that as a young man. I achieved black belt, but they were very much so about self-discipline. Don't use this talent unless you need it. Okay. Unless you're being outnumbered or whatever, you don't use it. Wanton, abandon, like just go kick somebody in the face because you can, right? That has to do with having a self-discipline also.
Zelda.
And grown men have that, who are men, and alpha or bravo, gammas get. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get.
So in my new position, I am running
There you go. There you
a
go.
service department by myself, and I am not an alpha by any means. I am more of a delta than I thought. I can fulfill the role of a bravo. I can fulfill the role of the alpha, but I don't want to be. I don't want to be in charge of everything. I want to make everything better because I do a good job.
There you go. Yeah, that's a trait of a solid delta, making it I consider myself, well, I'm kind of a little bit omega. I consider myself like a bravo, or more of a delta, Delta Bravo-ish, supporting the Alpha. I could be Alpha if I guess I had to, kind of similar to Owen, but I don't consider myself Alpha at all.
Nope. No desire to.
But dragon, so yeah, is it the old archetype of the Jungian archetype that the dragon in all of us, or is it like a myth, like we're remembering a common memory from pre-Diluvian times? Now I'm going to show a couple clips and we'll tell it out after that. And again, here's how the Asians look at the. Again, what does that look like to you guys? This is the river map of the Asians and how they look at the sky clock. It's related to their dragon mythology. I forget if it's Chinese or it's like a river water map.
Looks hateful.
It looks like the
exactly what you're trying to do. No, I can see exactly what it is. That's the sky clock.
Yeah, it's like the sky clock. But they call it a river clock, and it's related to like the Ouroboros that I just had up. There you go. The cycle of civilization always falling back on itself. But now I'm going to underline it. We'll end this on dragons, and I'll tell it out with tell me what you love, because I like that video. But I'm going to show. I'm going to show a clip here from Joe Rogan. There's been a guest on Jerry. Somebody on Instagram sent me this, so I don't want to be crucified by bears because I'm sharing a friggin' Toe Rogan clip here. But the guest dropped some serious gravy about dragons, and we started this off talking about we placate to dinosaurs and megafauna, but the mainstream will scoff off dragons. I'm going to show 2 videos right now that will just, again, consider the possibility that these things could have been real, and they're not just metaphorical Jungian dragon archetypes or telluric currents. Again, shout out to Ewar. I'm not flying in the face of that at all, because I do think that they also represent the energy grids and the lines in the earth, dragons. But I want you guys to listen to this, and the viewers as well. And then the possibility of, well, if they were real, like, could they really fire out of their mouth? Well, I'm going to follow up with another video after that, and then we'll lay a little bit more gravy. And I think I'm going to tell this out. We're over 2 hours now. What a great session, guys! I really appreciate you sticking around and the viewers. But let's see what's going on here.
These kind of far out there ideas. How do you like this idea? There's a group of people that say that dragons were real, and I'll explain. Around the same time period in China, South America, Africa, all these different Rome, all these places depicted people fighting dragons, right? And every dragon was slightly different, but it was all a giant scaly animal that could fly. Group that says this, they're saying the evidence is the reason there's no fossils of dragons is because they had bird bones and hollowish bones. They break down very easily and they don't fossilize. If there were lizards big enough to fly around and eat people, they didn't have bones that could fossilize. A small population of these giant flying lizards existed and encompassed all these different countries where they all depicted fighting dragons in their own way, and they were all killed off by knights or whatever it is, and then didn't fossilize.
What say you, MoonJazz?
Yeah.
Fire breathing would act.
We're crazy, right?
Yeah, I think we're all crazy, and we should be put in camps.
How dare you? What if those camps had roller coasters and the birthing unit and the maternity ward too? Would they?
Yeah.
Might they be construed something else? FEMA camps. Oh boy.
I mean, that sounds like, and roller coasters.
And rollerblading.
Yeah, and orchestras
and fapping machines. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah,
dude. Okay, consider that.
It's getting late, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna play this one out, and then this. Okay, how do they breathe fire? This is a physiological possibility here. Very interesting.
Fire breathing would actually be possible. After all, Brachynidae beetles do something very similar. Due to the various chemicals reacting a certain way when mixed together, these small beetles are able to fire hot caustic gas at their enemies with a temperature of 100 degrees Celsius. Just like these beetles, dragons could have also produced various chemicals in their bodies that are harmless by themselves, but that create a flame when mixed together. Or they could have produced diphosphane that ignites when exposed to air. Another possibility is that, instead of farting, they could have exhaled the same methane gas that cows and humans produce. In this case, the whole fire breathing would basically be like lighting a fart. The only challenge would then be to generate a spark. For example, some birds eat stones to help their digestion. If dragons did the same, minerals could have built up in their mouth, which could have caused a spark when they ground their teeth that would, in turn, ignite the emitted gas. If the dragon then breathed out the fire and paid attention to the wind, it might even have managed not to burn itself. For its own protection, it could have also developed heat-resistant body characteristics. The Saharan silver ant, for example, has small reflective hairs that dissipate the heat. In addition, it also
Flaming booty juice.
proteins that allow a significantly higher body temperature without being damaged. A dragon that is capable of producing flames would probably develop
Shut your mouth, titty bear.
over the years as well.
You know what this
The
is.
dragon's scale armor is probably also easier to imagine than you might think. Nature creates the most incredible materials that are both light and resistant. A great example of this is spider silk, which is stronger than steel or the keratin that protects pangolins.
Pangolins.
Boom.
All right, now we've crossed the line.
So
hilarious.
I think pangolins are fake. I think that's
Yeah,
fake as
right.
fuck.
They're
That's
a
fake.
hybrid
Yeah.
that was made in a lab.
That's a robot, and everybody knows it.
No, I saw
pandas?
something on it was talking about if dragons were real, but it was like if they were eating or chewing on an ore that they were finding in mountains that reacted with whatever they were able to expel, that could
Boom.
cause a spark too.
That was just a good example too of how it could possibly physiologically happen.
Air mixture, yeah, that makes sense too.
Yeah, so it is getting late, but Titty Bear, that was hilarious. Robbie Red, my man.
Flaming booty juice.
Hilarious. Titty, man, good to see you, bro. For real. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, Ira left Titty Bear at the strip club. That's why he didn't come to the festival.
Oh, gee. But yeah, I appreciate everybody coming here. We'll tail it out with a video from OG Instagram and a YouTube channel that got taken down. It's Tell Me What You Love, and they do great videos, truther videos to music and pop culture stuff. So unless hey, Liberty Step Bear, thanks for joining in, man. For real.
Thank you.
Your
Always
time.
a good one.
Yeah, we'll set up another one down the road. Sorry, I'm a slow-moving locomotive, but I get to the destination. So I get MoonJazzBear. Thank you, bro. I know we've been trying to do this earlier, but we got it done.
Much love,
I
fellas.
think we laid out some gravy. I think we probably imparted some knowledge onto the viewers that they may not have known previously. And if we can do that to just on one data point for one person, then we've accomplished something good, capital G. So again, thank you very much, guys. Shout out to the Unbearables and all the bears that were here. Titty, I appreciate you coming out, Titty Bear. Matt, Caledine Music, my man. So without further ado, you guys watched a live session of Bushwhacking History, the nature of the realm, and the scale of the universe from these Promethean theater dark wizards. But keep your faith up and your heads up, because that light at the end of the tunnel, it's not an approaching freight train, everybody. It's daylight, and we keep moving towards it, okay? We'll break through this. So any last words, Moon Jazz?
That's it. I dig it.
Liberty Step Bear?
Skull, brother.
Skull, that's right. That was Thursday for you. So we're going to tail it out. When Tell Me What You Love's video ends, that's going to be the episode. So thanks again. God bless you all, and keep it sleuthing. We'll catch you on the next one.
Later, Niggles.
Oh, and fellas, yeah, if you stick around after it plays so we could say goodbye. So just chill for a minute. All right, and let me set this up. Tell me what you love. This is awesome.
It's not meaningful just on a small scale, but it's meaningful.
Sorry.
Oh shit, blood sport.
Yeah, let's get this set up. Oh yeah, it's classic Van Damme right there. Okay, here we go. Tell me what you love. Classic. God bless y'all. Here we go.
It's not meaningful just on a small scale, but it's meaningful on a worldwide scale. The responsibility, for instance, of Neil Armstrong.
There is no space.
Talk about a fish story.
Yeah.
Man, and they're buying it.
As you fell, as you came off the roof, the earth curved underneath you. So that you were falling, but you were going so fast that the earth was curving away from you. So you never actually hit the ground. You just kept falling, and the earth kept curving.
Is always level.
Can I have a lollipop?
Well, that's just Lee Spark. Don't forget Becky. Oh, I got her when your heads were turned. Got her good. Now, Bart, just look out the window. It'll take your mind off the page.
The only limit to human future is in our own imagination.
The world is so generous in its beauty, and you do your best to take pictures of it. It's just flat gorgeous to see.
What did you just say?
Nothing. Of it. It's just flat gorgeous to see.
In a moment. What did you just say?
So fast, pretty fast.
It's just flat gorgeous to see. It's just flat gorgeous to see. It's just flat gorgeous to see.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
Enough people said that the earth was flat. So the earth was flat. Then they said the earth was round. So the earth was round. The earth is round. Prove it. Science proves it. Science? Anyone understands the science, huh? Enough people talk about something, right? Then it becomes fact. Then they put it in the book. And the book becomes fact.
Jag tittar med lite fysik och bara på också med stötten lite hårt. Jag känner så att det är tekniskt kan vara det. Men måste man ju nog kanske vara det nog fler gånger. Ja, man har så länge liv. Excusez.
I am Karen Fox. I'm here today at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland. We are 20.
And can we cut? Cut. What's the problem? I can't say these words.
What do you mean?
I just don't believe what I'm saying.
Okay, but you're an actress.
I'm not that good of an actress. Honest and trustworthy. Give me a break.